Alright, so we're going to be opening up and disassembling this Lenovo IdeaPad Flex 5-1570. Alright, so to do this, I believe it's a PH1 or JS1. Let's go ahead and see. Alright, and yeah. Alright, so we're going to remove all the screws from the bottom. It looks like one screw's missing. You want to keep all the screws in order because they can be different size, shape, and lengths. The way I do that is I put them flat side down like this on my desk in the pattern. I remove them. Other people told me they use like tape and stick it on there, which works well. I actually use a magnet tray that I designed. Yeah, you can just keep it on your desk and that should be fine. Alright, anyways, 3 here, 3 here, and then we got 4 at the bottom here. So let's go ahead and remove all those screws. I believe I've worked on this model before, not this exact computer, but this model. Oops, I almost lost that screw. Alright. So anyways, if this video helps you out, make sure to like, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. If it helps you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. Alright, so let's go ahead and get this cover off. Alright, we got all these screws out. Let's try with the suction cup first. Alright, and this, I don't remember when I took this out the first time if it was difficult or not, but I just slid my fingernail between the little gap here while I was kind of lifting, and here you can see now we got that open. Alright, of course not everyone has fingernails grown out. You can use plastic pry tools if you want, though ordering plastic pry tools might take longer than waiting for your fingernails to grow out, so depending what's your situation, you can get plastic pry tools. You can use whatever works for you. Alright, you don't have to follow everything exactly. Sometimes it's good to try and figure out better tools or tools that work for you. Okay, these clips for some reason are being a little difficult to come out, so let's see. We're going to work our way over, lift that up, and we're going to work our way down the side here. Okay, so we got part of it. And this side, the gap is like really tight here, so, or is it up here? Is it here? I can't tell. The gap might actually be up here because it doesn't want to move. Actually, this doesn't want to move at all. Is this the gap? Back, for some reason, the back doesn't want to come out here. All right, so, oh, there we go. Okay, so what I did was I grabbed this and I kind of just wiggled it up and down, and that seems to have released it. So let's try on this side. So grab that and kind of pull this up. Nope, that's not working as easily. Oh, yeah, it is, kind of. Not really, kind of. So I don't know what's holding this side. This side is really stuck, but as you can see, we formed a gap, and there we go. So there's actually a little clip that actually goes into this notch right there. Okay, I think we got it all out. There we go. So the customer said they were using it, and it just randomly shut off while they were using it. So what we're going to try is we're going to try basically a BIOS or CMOS reset here. What we're going to do, we're going to disconnect the CMOS battery or BIOS battery, because when we plug it in, it doesn't even detect that the laptop is getting charged. So I just use the wings and I kind of just wiggle the connector like this, and eventually it pops out, as you can see. We can also disconnect the regular battery that's built in. We're just going to grab the connector as close as possible and then kind of just wiggle that as you pull it back. And if you're replacing the battery, make sure to take note of which way the wires are going. The red one's here and the black one's going up towards the center of the laptop. Okay, we have the keyboard connector right here. I'm going to flip that latch up and make sure it's in all the way. Keyboard backlight, we got, actually let's take the battery out so we can see a little bit better. Okay, there's 2 screws it seems. I don't think there's any others. I don't know why this cable is up here. Normally it should be like tucked underneath like this. So I don't know if somebody opened this and worked on it before, but anyways, let's get these screws out. All right, once we get those 2 screws out, I think we should be able to just lift this, yep, and slide this out because there's a little notch that goes under this plastic. Battery model number is right there, L15M3PBO or PB0, okay? I think it's a 0 actually, PB0. Okay, then you got this tiny cable for the touchpad, this cable for, I think that's a fingerprint sensor, right? Yep, fingerprint sensor. Speakers right here with the wire that runs all the way up. It goes up to the center here. Same thing with the speaker on this side. The speakers aren't held in with any screws, so technically, let me move that out of the way. You should be able to just lift them up. Yep, just like that. But make sure these rubber pieces don't get lost. They do kind of have a little slot where they can just come out. All right, 2.5-inch SATA hard drive and a M.2 PCIe NVMe SSD. Yep, you should already know how to remove these, but basically there's 3 screws here. Once you remove those 3 screws, the SATA hard drive, you can slide down like this and pull it out. You can transfer this bracket over to a new SATA hard drive or SSD if you wanted to upgrade it. If you want, I highly recommend cloning over your previous stuff to the new one, but if you're starting brand new, you could just put a new drive in here, but you will have to go to like the disk utility and format it and things like that. There's a screw under here, but I don't want to remove that because there's a warranty sticker, but it pops up slightly and you can pull it out. All right, we're gonna check the RAM. So there's this metal plate here. I just get underneath with my fingernails and kind of pry it up, just like this. Again, you can use plastic pry tools or something that doesn't conduct electricity. And I only see 1 slot for RAM, so let's pull these 2 tabs away from the stick of RAM. It pops up and we can flip that over. And here you can see this is a 16 gig PC4 2400T stick of RAM. So they have 16 gigs of RAM here. All right, so let's see. Their charge port or DC jack is in place properly. We're gonna put this metal cover back on. Just get this lined up. Okay, make sure everything's good. Looks good, looks good. This one's a little bit not lined up. There we go. Okay, push everything back in. I don't really see anything that could have gone wrong here. The LCD LVDS connector. If you're gonna remove this connector, make sure after disconnecting the battery, actually let me do that since we have to do the BIOS or CMOS reset. I'm gonna actually hold the hinges here. Let me zoom out to help it because we don't have the cover screws on and this hinge is very strong, difficult to move. So you want to open up the computer and then we're gonna press and hold the power button for about 15 seconds. All right. This will drain any residual power from the motherboard and make it a lot safer to work on. Okay, so we're gonna hold this about 10 more seconds or so. All right. I probably held it longer than I need to, but that's okay. It's better to hold it longer than not hold it long enough. Okay, let's go ahead and close this up. So I'm gonna use my thumbs on the hinges, all right? And then we're gonna use that to push it down. And the reason I'm doing that is because, as you can see, we're missing the screw that's holding it here, and that means the hinge mechanism's a lot weaker. It's a bad design because these 2 screws here are actually the most important ones because they're the closest to where the hinge actually turns. All right, anyways, GPU is likely under here, CPU here. They're both soldered to the motherboard. You can't change them. Wireless card here underneath this adhesive foam stuff. You can pull the antennas up by the tails. Again, I have a video showing that. This charge port, yeah, I don't think that's a terrible design. So if you need to replace the charge port, you actually have to take the entire laptop apart to get the motherboard out, and then you can lift the hinge up out of the way. You can test it from the outside, like you can unplug this cable and then plug a new one in, but to replace it, actually you have to take the whole laptop apart, which is a really bad design. All right, anyways, we got this cable here. Okay, I just kind of want to check it because it looked a little crooked, and that's for the USB port, SD card slot, power button, and the one-time recovery, one key recovery or whatever button. All right, and I think that's about all there is in here to show. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna reattach the batteries and we're gonna plug this thing back in and see if it even powers up. So make sure to get the battery connector in straight. You don't wanna put it in crooked. Okay, and then we kind of just pinch the 2 together like this. All right, it clicks into place. We're gonna slide the foot back in and put this at an angle again. So get this piece in again at an angle, and then we'll drop that back down. Again, I'm tucking those under there because that's how it should be. And then we're gonna get the 2 screws in. Got 1 screw up in this corner and the 1 screw down here. All right, and then we're gonna go ahead and plug in the CMOS or BIOS battery. Okay, pinch the two together. Good. Let's go ahead and plug this in and see if there's any change or if it's still just completely dead. So get the charger out here. Let's plug this in. All right. Okay. Now let's get this thing plugged in. Actually, let me zoom out a bit for you guys so you can see the whole laptop. There we go. Okay, so we're gonna have that there. Trying to get it straightened out for a thumbnail. All right, anyways, we're gonna plug this in. And nothing's happening, no lights. So most likely it's a motherboard issue. To kind of verify that, I'm gonna actually use this voltmeter and check if power is actually coming through on all 4 pins over there. Okay, so let's move this over here. I'm gonna zoom in. Okay, I don't know. Hopefully you guys will be able to see this. It's gonna be upside down, I guess. All right, so basically what we're gonna do, it doesn't really matter which pins you touch to what, as long as you're just using each probe on 1 pin at a time. But if you wanna get it, you can touch the black one to the red one, and basically it will tell you the voltage coming through. So let's see here. Actually, is no power coming through this at all? Huh. So as you can see, or I don't know if maybe my hand's getting in the way, I don't know. Which way is better here? Oh, okay, no, there's power getting through. I think it was just outside they have that crusty stuff that's getting in the way. All right, and yeah, power's getting through. So the weird thing though, it's not like it doesn't stay powered, it randomly will shut off, as you can see. So that's kind of weird. I don't think I have another charger of this exact size. Let's actually check the CMOS battery to see if it does the same thing. So the CMOS battery should stay at about 3 volts. Where can I put this? Okay, here. Again, it doesn't really matter which side you have where. The only difference is instead of showing positive numbers, it'll show negative if you switch them around. And here you can see it's staying 3.22. So you see it stays on. So I'm gonna have to see if I have another charger to test, but see if you do it backwards, it just goes negative. But anyways, the customer told me they did have another charger and tried it already, so I would assume it's not the charger. Maybe that's just the design of the charger. It tries to see if it's the right computer or something, if it's getting the signal or the power through properly. But anyways, let me see if I have another charger that will fit this, and I'll be back. All right, I'll see you guys in a bit. All right, so I have a universal charger that I set to 20 volts because this takes 20 volts. And I'm going to test this one. So let's see if this actually, hopefully it's the same size tip. It fits in the plug, but sometimes there can be a very slight difference and then it doesn't fit right. So let's go ahead and try this. So I'm going to use this little metal bit to just get in the center, so that way I make sure it's touching the pins. And all right, there you can see it's hitting 19.9293 and it stays on. So let's see if this makes a difference. I'm gonna try plugging this into the charge port and see if it lights up. If it doesn't, I don't know, it could just, again, it could just be my charger tip is not exactly the right size even though it plugs in. So let's plug that in. Nothing's happening. Okay, so let's actually check the voltage if it's coming through properly. This is how you can test if it's the right size. Okay, if it's making contact with both pins. All right, so get these out of my way. There we go. All right, so we're gonna now touch this. I'm doing it backwards, but it's okay. Yeah, I think oh wait, okay, there you go. So now you can see actually the power is staying solid at 19. All right, and you can actually see all 4 pins. So it's definitely not a charger issue. It seems like it actually is a motherboard issue. Let's actually see what happens if we try and power it on, because this one does respond differently where it's just pushing power even though the board's not lighting up or the power light is not lighting up. Again, I'm going to hold on to the hinges here while I kind of open this up. Okay, And let's see if the power button does anything. Nope. Nothing happens. Alright, so it does seem like a motherboard issue. We're going to unplug that and set that aside. And I guess we'll just put it back together. I'll let the customer know, see what they want to do, because I have someone I work with that does motherboard repairs. Sometimes they're able to fix them, sometimes they're not. It really depends on what's causing it. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's go ahead and get this thing back together. Sorry we weren't able to get it fixed, but hopefully this helped you at least seeing what components are inside and what you can and can't replace. But yeah, alright, let's get this back together. So we're just going to line everything back up. I guess you kind of want to snap the back end first because that's what was pulled out last. Alright, and then just work your way down. And we'll just get all the screws back in. Since that screw was missing, I'd actually rather have the screws over the hinges more than the screw over the center back here. So I'm going to actually move that screw over. Or actually, because down here has 4 screws, I could always just use one of those instead. So we'll do that. Okay. And these screws do appear to be the same size, so no worries if you accidentally happen to mix it up. Sorry, street cleaners coming today. That's what the noise is, the street sweeper. Hopefully you guys are able to hear. But yeah, anyways, that's pretty much all there is to it. Hopefully this video helped you guys out. Again, if it did, make sure to like, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. If it helped you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and it allows me to continue making these videos for a living. But yeah, that's all there is to it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Alright, let me just get all these screws back in. We have one left because the other one's missing. Okay, and yeah, that's it. See you all in the next one. Alright, let's drop this. Bye.